Hello, thank you for joining me today and welcome. There's been something that has been on my mind off and on now for a little bit that I would like to talk about today. You can love writing with your whole heart and still at times feel completely lonely. I don't think it gets said enough that writing can be lonely. And don't get me wrong, it's also very fun. And when you get into the zone and the words are flowing onto the page, that is such an incredible feeling. And I can definitely say I don't at that moment feel alone, but when you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out what's going to happen next, or you're in editing mode, or even when you have great ideas that you just want to share with someone and there's nobody else around, that can definitely bring on feelings of loneliness. And sometimes it just feels like everybody else has, their writing group or their community or readers who get them. And then you're just sitting there by yourself. And that can lead you to wondering if what you're writing even matters to anyone else but you. But what if that secret struggle, those feelings of isolation at times, is actually one of the most common things that we all share as writers? It's normal to feel like we want to belong with a group. We want to connect. We want to share our ideas and our words. I mean, that's usually what drives us to write. So what if all of these kinds of feelings actually help us to be able to find our people, to push us to look for them? I've loved storytelling ever since I was a little girl, always imagining new worlds and new characters, new adventures, like being a starship captain in the Star Trek universe, or being a superhero conquering evil, or being stranded on a deserted island and having to survive. And when I would share these ideas and my stories with my family and friends, they were always very supportive. They were always very caring. They enjoyed the stories that I had to share with them. And that always helped me to want to continue storytelling, to continue using my imagination. And I love that. And I greatly appreciate all of that support and encouragement as I was growing up. And even now, my husband is very supportive and he also has a creative mind. His is geared to music. He plays guitar. He's written his own songs. So he gets the creative process and he'll listen to my ideas, and he always encourages me to, explore those ideas. But I mean, he's not always around, and sometimes it's nice to talk shop with a fellow writer who understands the whole writing process and how difficult or challenging it can be in some aspects. It wasn't really until I started promoting my novel, The Untamed World, on social media that I began to feel that lack of community. There's just an ocean of books out there, right? There are so many creatives, and that is amazing. That's awesome. But seeing the writing communities and the groups that other authors had built made me realize that I was missing something. Connection with people who feel the same way that I do. And that includes both writing and reading. I decided to write The Untamed World because it was a book that I wanted to read. It was an adventure that I wanted to see and experience, and I wanted to share it with like-minded people. I want to find readers and writers who connect with that kind of storytelling. And I realized that the kind of writing that I want to do and the community that I want to find around that writing are not loud. They're not flashy people. I like deeply emotional stories, but without the explicit content. Like, I'm not big into spice or swearing or even supernatural. I don't care for the supernatural. And even when it comes to magic stories, I like it kind of like the light fairy tale type in the stories that I read. I love stories that are full of mystery and adventure. I like some sci-fi and fantasy, survival and hope. And as Anne and Anne of Green Gables would always talk about, is having the kindred spirits or meeting the kindred spirits. And that's something that I want to find in readers and writers. And that's the kind of community or tribe that I hope to find or be a part of. And I think if I'm going to write stories that I want to read, then I'm going to first of all search for the community that I want. But if I can't find it, then why not build one? Just a little corner of the internet where readers and writers like us, the ones who want to write non-spicy fiction without explicit language, could feel seen and connect. So if you're watching this and thinking, yes, that's exactly how I feel, then this video is for you. Maybe you're a writer who dreams of character arcs and plot twists, but you haven't found the people who get the kind of story that you're telling. Maybe you're a reader who wants the adventure and emotional depth in your fiction without all of the explicit content. Or maybe you're like me, both, and you just want a space where your voice feels welcome. One of the reasons I created my novel, The Untamed World, is because I wanted to tell the kind of story that I couldn't find on the shelf. A little sci-fi, a little fantasy, a little survival, meaningful, non-spicy, character-driven storytelling. That's what I was looking for. And if you would like to see what kind of storyteller I am, what kind of writer, I do have in the link below 2 free chapters of my novel, The Untamed World. So again, it is in the link. You can grab that there. And you can see if that's something that you connect with. I think the reason that we do feel that isolation at times is because we care deeply. We care deeply about our words that we've written on our page. We've poured our heart and soul into that. We care about the readers that we are writing for. And we want to feel like we're not just shouting in the void. But maybe it's not a void. Maybe it's just a really quiet room full of writers and readers who are also looking for someone to speak first. I know for myself, I am not the type of person who usually will put myself forward. I am introvert. I don't like to take the initiative a lot of times either, but this is something that I felt I need to do if I want to connect with that, because a lot of times I think that especially the writers or the readers that I'm searching for are probably a lot like me, who just kind of sit in the background and we watch. We'll scroll through the posts and, we might like something, might do the odd comment. There are a few people that I have connected with on social media that I feel drawn to. Like I like their writing. I like, interacting with their posts. So that's something that I'm trying to grow a little bit more, is that kind of a community. Looking for those kind of people that I just click with, I connect with. So if you've ever felt that loneliness and the silence, and you wonder if you're the only one who feels that way, you're not alone. And there's nothing wrong with craving community. As humans, that's something that we need to be part of something. And I'm still trying to find mine. If any of this resonates with you, please leave me a comment and let me know. Tell me a bit about the kind of stories that you love, either reading or writing, and what kind of community that you're trying to find. And if you want to stick around, I am building this space for us, for thoughtful writers and storytellers, as well as readers who love a good emotional story without all the explicit stuff. Thank you so much for joining me today and hanging out. I'm really glad that you're here. So until next time, Happy writing.